today we are going to be talking about the AP3 or AP English Language and Composition Summer Homework. So if you are like me, you probably went onto the website and looked at the document and realized, oh my god, this is a ton of work. It's really not, once you look through it. So, holy moly, right? Oh my gosh, it's like 4 pages of words. Well, really, it's really only like 3 or 4 assignments. So first thing you're going to need to do is buy this book, Thank You for Arguing. So I think there are like 4 editions, but any of them are fine, and you're going to need to read it. You're going to need to read it and take some notes. Now, these notes are not just any notes, they are called Dialectical Journals, or journal entries. So you need at least 10 entries, but they're not huge. They only have to be 2 to 5 sentences around, but it's at least, so you should probably do at least a few more. I think I did around 12. It's really not that bad. What I did is I set a certain amount of pages for myself to read every single day, and I got through it in about 2 weeks. Now, if you're just starting, you don't necessarily have that much time, you should probably read in bigger increments. You could possibly buy the audiobook and take notes while you're listening. I don't know if that makes it go quicker, if it's just easier, you can kind of multitask. So that's kind of the easy part. Once you are done with that, you can think of it as 2 steps, your journal entries and reading the book. Then you have to move on to a writing assignment. But going back to the journal entries, so I think these are going to be turned in through turnitin.com. So if you hand wrote them, it's probably a good idea to type them up into a document. And the format that they use is they made like a table, and on one side they have the term or strategy, whatever you're taking the notes on, and then the discussion piece on the side. And the discussion, they said you can talk about what makes it interesting, when you have seen or heard it, or how you might not use it, etc. I also talked about how I have used it or how I've seen it used like in my own life, not just watching on TV like speeches and stuff. So that stuff is pretty easy. Also, for the term, you need to give a page number and paraphrase or direct quote. And next, they give you an AP Pro student tip. Tip to be even more prepared for class: print, cut, and study AP terms flashcards. From the teacher's website, under the AP Handouts tab, it is called AP Terms. It can also be found on the Advanced Placement General Handouts tab, and it's called AP Terms Flashcards. You can cut out each word / definition into strips and then fold to make front back card or use index cards. Now, I have not done this, but if you feel like you have everything under control, you're not procrastinating, I totally recommend doing that. Maybe I'll wait until school starts, who knows. But that is something good to do. Okay, the next assignment: analysis of rhetorical terms and concepts. So this is the writing piece, and this is what takes up a large portion of the document, kind of the big scary part. But once you start, it's, guess what, not that scary. So they break it down into 4 steps for you. Step 1, you're going to choose any rhetorical concept that Heinrichs explores, but not a chapter title. So if the chapter title was how to recover or recovery from a screw up, that's not going to be your concept. Your concept is going to be the tool that you use to recover. And then step number 2, you're going to summarize, not directly quote, the concept, and then use a parenthetical citation. And they give you a format to follow down here. You can find it on the school website. And step 3, you need to find a real-world example of the concept in action. However, this example has to be text-based. So best choices are an article, letter, or a nonfiction essay. You can also do a speech. However, that speech has to have a transcript so that you can quote it in the essay. Although I don't think it's really an essay, or like a précis. Anyways, so the last step that we have to do is explain how the example we found, the real life example, relates to the rhetorical strategy that we chose. So this is kind of just like your analysis piece, like you would do in any English class, any paper. Obviously, better explanations give you better scores than quality over quantity, although it does have to be 4 sentences at least. They give you an example, which you can also find on the same document on the Heritage website. This part of your paper does have to be double spaced. So they have a whole example of what this should look like. Now notice it is mostly MLA formatted in the sense that we have 12 font, Times New Roman, we have our heading and our page number and our title. However, if you look closely, you'll notice that this part is not double spaced and we have numbers for each of the steps. So step 1, we have our chapter and the concept that we're talking about, not the chapter title. Step 2, we have our summary of the concept, and these are all not double spaced. And then step 3, we have our quote from our real life example, and then we cite that in the paper. And then step 4 is your analysis piece, and it just barely goes on to the second page. So as you can tell, this is not huge. It's really not as scary as you think it is. And it doesn't even have to be formatted like a real paper. We're not blending evidence. We don't have separate paragraphs. It's really just kind of step by step. Once you get started, I'm sure you'll find that it's not as difficult as it seems. Now they do have some research hints right here. And it is giving you some websites that help you with your formatting for MLA format. And it also is giving you some websites to look at speeches, articles, or essays that you can find. So that is pretty much it. Everything is due the second week of school. So you do have more time for this assignment because it is larger. Like I said, it's not as scary once you start working. I promise you, I promise. It even says it on the paper note. This looks scarier than it is. Although it's one thing coming from a teacher and one thing coming from a student. You can find this document under the AP Summer Homework link. And you can also find them on Miss Rowland's website. I haven't taken this class yet, but I'm sure we are all going to do amazing together and build a nice little community over distance learning with each other. So, we got this, guys. Thank you.